My name is McKenna Orcutt, and I will be presenting Water Lilies by Claude Monet. Water Lilies was a series of over 250 oil paintings created by Claude Monet, also known as the father of French Impressionism. In 1890, Monet had bought a house in the beautiful French town of Giverny. He spent much time remodeling his property to create a garden that would further inspire his artwork. Once the beautiful garden was complete, he was inspired to create the Water Lilies series. The series started in the middle of 1890s and continued until his death in 1926. Monet was known as the veteran of Impressionism and the man who did the most to establish it. He was in love with light and the luminous and radiant appearance of things. He strived to perfect the reflection of light in his paintings. Sometimes he would create over 50 paintings of the same object, just in different angles, lights, and seasons. He has created several other famous paintings such as the Impression Sunrise, the Haystack series, and the Ruined Cathedral series. Shown here is one of the very few Water Lilies paintings that was done on a round canvas. As you can see, this painting is very balanced. It's not perfectly symmetrical, however, the alternating groups of lily pads create a balanced feel. The texture appears to be soft and fine in the areas of water, and in the areas where the lily pads are, the texture comes off as a little bit rougher. This series has a very realistic style because all the paintings depict the actual appearance of Monet's water lily pond, and not in a distorted way. Staring into this painting, the viewer would feel as though they are surrounded by water and standing right at the scene of Monet's water lily pond. As Monet was the first artist to paint in the Impressionist time period, his artwork was vastly different from the artwork before his time. The lighting, the colors, the brushstroke, and the subject matter was all being painted differently. Lighting was one of the most important features during the Impressionist time. Monet always made sure to use natural light, cool colors, and to perfect the reflection of light off the water. These features provided the water lily paintings with a calm feeling, an appreciation of nature and light, and the feeling of reality. These cool colors differ from past paintings, such as The Marriage of Arnolfini or The Descent from the Cross, where the colors are more saturated and vibrant with these strong reds, blues, and greens. Monet's brushstrokes were also very different at this time. If you look at his paintings, the brushstroke is very visible and the painting looks rough in some areas. In past paintings, like the Mona Lisa, the brushstroke was not very visible and the painting came off as very smooth. The last aspect that was vastly different in the Impressionist period was the subject matter that was being painted. Impressionism started to focus more on leisure scenes, people's everyday life, and nature. Using the art methodology of biography, one can interpret Monet's life and personality just by looking at his artwork. By looking at the 250 water lily paintings, we can tell that Monet valued the outdoors, nature, and the environment. With the mass amount of paintings he created, we can conclude that he spent a grand amount of time outside, showing that he thoroughly enjoys the fresh air and being around his garden. We can also tell that he believed there was much beauty in nature, and that that beauty needed to be shared with the world. And might I say, he did a marvelous job of doing so in these paintings. It's extraordinary how perfectly he captured the reflection of light off the waters. You can see the trees being reflected in the center of the ponds, and the light bouncing off of the ripples in the water. He was definitely the type of man to value precision in his paintings. I chose Water Lilies as my project for the symbolic reasoning behind it. It reminds me of my childhood and my family. My old house used to have a small pond with lily pads floating on top and fish swimming inside it. Me and my older brother would go down to the pond and play with the baby frogs we found on the lily pads and splash each other with the water. So these paintings reminded me of the wonderful childhood memories I have with my brother. That concludes my presentation on the water lilies. Thank you for watching.